Deep within the Devil's Triangle, massive ships vanish without a trace, dragged down by an unseen force. Behind the ghostly wreckage lie hundreds of lost souls, and the desperate families still waiting for them to come home. Imagine a stretch of ocean. Not just any ocean, but a vast expanse of sapphire and storm, where the horizon offers no comfort, and the depth holds secrets no light can penetrate. For centuries, mariners and aviators have traversed these waters, their paths crossing an invisible boundary, a zone whispered about in hushed tones, marked on no official chart, yet etched into the collective fear of those who dare to sail or fly its skies. This is the Bermuda Triangle. Known by many names, the Devil's Triangle, the Hoodoo Sea, its very mention conjures images of vanishing acts on a colossal scale. It isn't merely a region of rough weather, it is, for many, a place where the rules of physics fray, where compasses spin wildly, and advanced technology falls terrifyingly silent. Geographically, this enigmatic region typically stretches from the southeastern tip of Florida, across the Atlantic to the island of Bermuda, then south to San Juan, Puerto Rico, before arcing back to the Florida Straits. A colossal area, covering over 500,000 square miles, it is a bustling highway for global shipping and air travel. Yet, within its invisible confines, hundreds of ships and aircraft, carrying thousands of souls, have simply disappeared. These aren't ordinary accidents. Many vanish without a distress signal, in clear weather, leaving behind no wreckage, no oil slick, no life rafts. The stories echo through history. Magnificent sailing vessels lost in calm seas, mighty cargo ships ceasing all communication mid-voyage, advanced military aircraft evaporating from radar screens. Each case, a chilling testament to the Triangle's insatiable appetite. What defines a Bermuda Triangle case isn't just the disappearance, but the utter lack of explanation. It's the void, the sudden, complete silence, and the baffling absence of any trace. It's the stark reality that something colossal can simply cease to be, leaving behind only questions, an enduring mystery that continues to defy logic, challenge science, and fuel the most profound dread. Welcome to the apex of annihilation. Welcome to the Triangle. December 5, 1945. A routine training flight departs Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 5 Avenger torpedo bombers, Flight 19, led by experienced but reportedly disoriented Lieutenant Charles Taylor, were to conduct a 3-hour navigation exercise over the Atlantic. What began as a standard mission quickly unraveled into a chilling mystery that would forever etch itself into the Bermuda Triangle's terrifying legacy. The first crack in the mission's composure came an hour and a half in. Taylor, seemingly lost, reported both his compasses had failed. His voice, once calm, grew increasingly agitated over the radio, broadcasting frantic exchanges with the Fort Lauderdale base. "We seem to be off course. We don't know where we are," he transmitted, a terrifying admission for any pilot, let alone one leading a squadron. Attempts to guide them home were met with confusion. Taylor believed they were over the Florida Keys, then perhaps the Gulf of Mexico, while ground control insisted they were east of Florida, heading further into the unforgiving sea. As daylight faded, the situation grew desperate. The last faint, garbled transmissions from Flight 19 spoke of bad weather, an inability to see the water, and a final, chilling plea, "We're entering white water, we're completely lost." Then, silence. 5 warplanes, 14 men, vanished without a trace into the vast, turbulent expanse of the Atlantic. The tragedy deepened that very night. A PBM Mariner flying boat, dispatched to search for Flight 19, also disappeared. Witnessed by a tanker crew, the Mariner exploded in a fiery inferno shortly after takeoff, likely due to a fuel vapor issue, adding 13 more souls to the night's toll. Yet, the fate of the original squadron remained utterly inexplicable. The subsequent U.S. Navy investigation, meticulous and exhaustive, scrutinized every angle. Pilot error, mechanical failure, even an alleged pre-mission hangover for Taylor were considered. Ultimately, the official verdict was stark and unsatisfying, cause unknown. This inconclusive pronouncement, coupled with the sheer scale of the disappearance and the second search plane's demise, catapulted Flight 19 into the annals of the unexplained. It became the definitive cornerstone of the Bermuda Triangle legend, a testament to the ocean's dark, unfathomable power, forever fueling speculation about unseen forces at play within its treacherous waters. From the tranquil waters of Barbados, she steamed north, a behemoth of steel laden with a crucial wartime cargo. The USS Cyclops, a colossus of the U.S. Navy, was not just any vessel, she was a vital supply ship, a floating testament to America's industrial might in the throes of World War I. But as March of 1918 unfolded, this Leviathan, carrying 306 souls, crew and passengers, would sail into an abyss from which she would never return. Her destination was Baltimore, her mission critical, yet somewhere between the Caribbean and the Chesapeake, the Cyclops simply vanished. No distress signal was ever received. No SOS, no debris, no wreckage, just a gaping void where a ship the size of a small town had been. The sea offered no explanation, leaving naval authorities in a state of bewildered alarm. For a nation embroiled in a global conflict, the silent disappearance of such a massive vessel was unprecedented. Even President Woodrow Wilson himself, deeply troubled by the unprecedented silence, ordered an extensive inquiry, famously lamenting, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." Initial fears, naturally, pointed to a German U-boat attack, a common terror of the Atlantic during wartime. Yet, no German records ever claimed such a prize, nor was any debris found that might suggest combat. The U-boat theory was ultimately dismissed, leaving the silence even more profound. Investigators turned their attention inward, exploring the ship's own vulnerabilities. One leading theory centered on the Cyclops' unique and volatile cargo, over 10,000 tons of heavy manganese ore, known for its tendency to shift catastrophically. Combined with potential structural weaknesses in a ship originally designed for coal, a sudden, violent squall could have spelled instant disaster, capsizing the massive vessel with no time to react, no opportunity for a frantic radio call. A swift, silent plunge, gulped by the unforgiving depths. The loss of the USS Cyclops remains the single greatest non-combat tragedy in U.S. naval history. For the families of those 306 souls, the ocean offered no closure, no gravesite, only an enduring, chilling question mark. The Bermuda Triangle had, once again, swallowed a giant whole, adding another specter to its infamous legend, a silent monument to the unseen forces that rule the deep. The year is 1921. The treacherous waters off North Carolina's Outer Banks, a graveyard for countless ships, are about to add another chilling chapter to their dark legend. It was late January when the 5-masted schooner Carroll A. Deering, a magnificent vessel fresh from delivering coal to Rio de Janeiro, was spotted by the lighthouse tender Cape Lookout. The schooner appeared to be sailing erratically, its sails full, yet it failed to respond to signals. A storm was brewing, and the tender, unable to approach, could only watch as the Deering continued its phantom journey. Days later, on January 31st, a surfman from the Coast Guard station at Cape Hatteras finally reached the schooner. What he found on board sent shivers down the spine of every seasoned mariner. The Carroll A. Deering was perfectly intact, its galley set for a meal, personal effects scattered throughout the cabins, yet utterly deserted. Not a single soul remained. The ship's log, navigational instruments, and even the crew's personal belongings were all present, untouched. The only thing missing: the ship's 2 lifeboats, one of which had clearly been launched. The discovery ignited a firestorm of speculation. Was it a mutiny, a desperate act by a disgruntled crew turning on their captain, W.B. Wormel? Or perhaps a daring act of piracy, a relic from a bygone era, where the crew was taken captive or forced overboard? The wild storms common to the region offered another grim possibility, a sudden squall that swept the crew away, leaving the ship miraculously unharmed. The Coast Guard launched a massive investigation, but interagency confusion and conflicting reports plagued their efforts from the start. Initial findings pointed to something deeply unsettling, something beyond the usual perils of the sea. The mystery deepened with the discovery of other abandoned vessels in the same period, fueling whispers of a coordinated act or an unseen force at play. Despite an exhaustive official inquiry stretching into months, involving the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and Justice, no definitive answer ever emerged. The Carroll Deering remained a perfectly preserved paradox, a ship sailing silently into history, its crew vanished into the vast, indifferent expanse of the Atlantic. It stands as one of the most compelling and enduring ghost ship enigmas of the Bermuda Triangle's periphery, a stark reminder of the ocean's capacity to swallow secrets whole. The name Mary Celeste echoes through maritime lore, a phantom ship sailing into legend, its crew vanished without a trace. For generations, this chilling tale has been whispered in the same breath as the Bermuda Triangle, a prime example of the sea's insatiable hunger for souls. But here, the popular narrative veers sharply from the factual compass. The truth, while no less enigmatic, places the Mary Celeste's haunting discovery far from the Triangle's mystic boundaries. It was December 4, 1872, in the vast, unforgiving expanse of the North Atlantic Ocean, nearly 400 nautical miles east of the Azores, that the British brigantine Dei Grazia sighted a vessel adrift. As Captain David Morehouse approached, he recognized her, the American merchant brigantine, Mary Celeste. What he found aboard would etch her name into the annals of Unsolved Mysteries, a maritime ghost story of the highest order. The Mary Celeste was in perfect seaworthy condition. Her sails were partially set, her cargo of industrial alcohol was undisturbed, perfectly intact in the hold. There were no obvious signs of struggle, no distress call recorded, no damage beyond a slightly dislodged pump and a missing lifeboat. Yet, the entire crew, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 seasoned sailors, had vanished. Their breakfast was still laid out, personal effects remained untouched. It was as if they had simply stepped off the ship, into thin air. Theories surged like the Atlantic waves. Was it a mutiny? Unlikely, given the intact cargo and the captain's respected character. Piracy? Again, the untouched valuables and cargo make this improbable. Some suggested a rogue waterspout, a sudden, violent column of water that could have swept the crew overboard in a moment of panic as they launched the lifeboat. Or perhaps, a more sinister plot, insurance fraud, though this too struggles against the vessel's good condition and the captain's integrity. Each theory, meticulously examined, crumbles under scrutiny, leaving only the profound void of the unknown. Unlike the perplexing disappearances within the Bermuda Triangle, the sudden, often catastrophic vanishings of entire squadrons and massive ships that defy conventional explanation, the Mary Celeste presents a different kind of riddle. Her mystery is a classic maritime whodunit, a stark reminder that the ocean, even outside the Devil's Triangle, holds countless secrets. She is not a victim of unseen forces pulling vessels into another dimension, but a testament to the inexplicable, a perfectly preserved stage where the actors simply walked off, never to return. Her legend serves not as a prophet of the Triangle, but as a timeless enigma of the open sea. It was just after 9 on a calm December night in 1967, the glittering skyline of Miami a beacon of civilization just a mile to the west. On board the 23-foot cabin cruiser Witchcraft, Captain Dan Burek and his friend, Father Patrick Horgan, were enjoying a leisurely evening cruise. Burek, a seasoned yachtsman, was testing new lighting equipment, a routine trip that should have concluded with them safely back at shore. But then, an abrupt, chilling message pierced the airwaves. "We have struck an unknown object." Burek's voice, steady yet urgent, crackled over the radio. "We're a mile out from the Miami Sea buoy. Need assistance." The call was clear, the location precise, directly off Miami Beach, within plain sight of thousands of homes and businesses. The Coast Guard instantly mobilized. Rescue vessels were dispatched. Helicopters roared to life, their powerful searchlights cutting through the darkness, sweeping the tranquil waters where the Witchcraft had just reported its distress. But the ocean held only silence. The immediate response, typically a surefire way to pinpoint a vessel in trouble, found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, no sign of struggle. The sea was unusually calm that night, a placid expanse offering no explanation for a sudden, catastrophic event. It was as if the Witchcraft, with Burek and Horgan aboard, had simply ceased to exist, swallowed by the very air they breathed. Hours turned into days, and the search expanded, covering thousands of square miles. Every available resource was deployed, every theory considered. Yet, the vast, blue canvas of the Atlantic yielded only one solitary clue, a single life ring, bearing the name Witchcraft, found floating eerily far from the reported collision site. It was a fragment of proof, a ghostly whisper from a vessel that had vanished completely, leaving behind no other trace, no distress flare, no debris field to indicate a catastrophic breakup. How could a boat, reporting a collision, disappear so utterly and completely within a mile of a major city? With calm seas, clear visibility, and an immediate, coordinated search. The Witchcraft didn't sink gradually, it vanished instantly, becoming another chilling chapter in the enigma of the Devil's Triangle, a testament to forces unseen and unexplained, capable of claiming even those closest to shore. Imagine a vessel, not just carrying cargo, but a literal molten river, a superheated liquid moving within its very core. This was the Marine Sulphur Queen, a tanker reborn from a T2 oil carrier, tasked with transporting one of the most volatile substances imaginable, 15,000 tons of molten sulfur, heated to a scorching 275 degrees Fahrenheit. In February of 1963, with 39 souls aboard, she embarked on a routine voyage from Beaumont, Texas, bound for Norfolk, Virginia, a journey that would lead her straight into the heart of the Bermuda Triangle's dark legend. But the Queen was no stranger to peril. Her conversion from a conventional oil tanker meant modifications that many experts feared compromised her integrity. Reports of structural issues plagued her history, a patched hull, brittle welds, and a history of maintenance concerns that pointed to a ship struggling against its own design. Some crew members had even voiced fears, describing the vessel as a floating time bomb. The molten sulfur, contained in 4 massive tanks, was not just corrosive, any breach could lead to catastrophic explosions, especially if mixed with seawater. Her last radio contact came on February 4, placing her just off the Florida Keys. Then, silence. The vast, indifferent expanse of the Atlantic Ocean swallowed her whole. A massive search operation was launched, spanning hundreds of thousands of square miles. The hope for survivors dwindled with each passing hour, giving way to the grim reality of a complete disappearance. All they found were fragmented clues, a tattered life vest, a burnt life ring, and a plaque bearing the ship's name, floating amidst the debris field. Yet, the ship itself, and its 39 crew, vanished without a trace. The Coast Guard's exhaustive investigation concluded that the Marine Sulphur Queen was unseaworthy, citing her structural weaknesses and the inherent danger of her cargo. The official report theorized a rapid, violent end, an explosion so fierce and sudden that it left no time for distress calls, no chance for escape. Perhaps the molten sulfur ignited, or a structural failure led to a catastrophic rupture, sending her to the seabed in mere minutes. The true cause, however, remains shrouded in the perpetual mystery of the Devil's Triangle, leaving behind only questions, and the chilling specter of a fiery end at sea. It was October 1, 2015. Far from the fantastical tales of vanishing planes and sailing ships, the cargo vessel El Faro steamed south from Jacksonville, Florida, bound for San Juan, Puerto Rico. But this wasn't a journey into the unknown depths of ancient legend. This was a headlong collision with a very real, very modern monster, Hurricane Joaquin. Joaquin, initially dismissed as a mere tropical storm, had undergone a terrifying transformation. By September 30th, it had exploded into a Category 4 behemoth, a swirling vortex of wind and water directly in El Faro's path. Captain Michael Davidson, a seasoned mariner, had made the decision to hold course, believing his ship could outrun or skirt the storm's worst fury. A fatal miscalculation that would seal the fate of all aboard. As El Faro plunged into the maelstrom, the reality was stark. Winds screamed at over 120 miles per hour, waves towered higher than the ship itself, cresting at an unimaginable 50 feet. The vessel began to list severely, cargo shifting violently, and then, the catastrophic blow, a loss of propulsion. Adrift, crippled, and at the mercy of the tempest, the 33 souls aboard faced an unimaginable ordeal. Their last communication spoke of the ship's desperate condition, then, silence. Weeks later, from a depth of 15,000 feet, the ship's voice data recorder was recovered. Its chilling audio log painted a harrowing picture: the increasing panic, the desperate attempts to regain control, the final, desperate mayday call before the cold, dark ocean claimed the ship and its crew. The El Faro didn't just disappear, its final moments were tragically, agonizingly recorded. The subsequent NTSB investigation was unflinching. It exposed a confluence of human factors, an over-reliance on outdated weather data, a failure of leadership in the face of escalating danger, and a critical underestimation of Joaquin's brutal power. While not a classic Bermuda Triangle mystery of the unexplained, El Faro serves as a grim warning, a stark reminder that even in the age of satellite navigation and advanced meteorology, the ocean remains an unforgiving force, capable of overwhelming even the most prepared. The El Faro tragedy strips away the myths, revealing the very real, terrifying hazards of maritime travel in a region notorious for its volatile weather. It grounds the legend of the Devil's Triangle in the stark reality of human decision-making and the raw, untamed power of the sea. The unseen forces, sometimes, are simply nature's wrath, amplified by our own hubris. From the chilling accounts of vanished vessels to the stark absence of wreckage, the Bermuda Triangle has long defied easy explanation. While legends whisper of supernatural forces and extraterrestrial interventions, the relentless pursuit of truth demands we look closer, beneath the waves and into the very fabric of our natural world. Could the answers lie not in the mythical, but in the merciless science of our planet? One compelling theory posits a silent, deadly threat bubbling up from the seabed: methane hydrates. These icy cages of gas, trapped under immense pressure, can rupture during seismic shifts or warming ocean temperatures. Imagine vast plumes of methane erupting from the ocean floor, transforming the water into a frothing, less dense liquid. A ship caught in such a gas bubble would lose buoyancy instantly, plummeting into the abyss with terrifying speed, leaving no time for distress calls, no debris to be found. It's a plausible, chilling explanation for sudden, complete disappearances. Then there are the rogue waves, monstrous walls of water, twice the height of surrounding waves, that can appear out of nowhere, even in calm seas. These three sisters, as sailors call them, can dwarf even the largest cargo ships, engulfing them whole. A 100-foot wave, striking a vessel broadside, could capsize or break it apart in seconds, pulling it down before any warning could be sounded. Beyond the waves, the very air and earth play their part. The Bermuda Triangle is notorious for its severe weather patterns: hurricanes that form with devastating speed, waterspouts that can suck ships into their vortex, and microbursts, localized columns of sinking air that strike the surface with incredible force. Add to this the powerful, often erratic currents of the Gulf Stream, capable of sweeping wreckage thousands of miles off course, and the challenge of finding any trace becomes monumental. And what of the compasses that spin wildly, the electronics that fail without warning? Scientists continue to study localized magnetic anomalies, regions where the Earth's magnetic field is unusually strong or weak, potentially causing navigation instruments to malfunction. While unlikely to sink a ship on its own, a disoriented crew, battling a sudden storm or navigating treacherous currents without reliable instruments, could easily find themselves lost and ultimately, overwhelmed. Perhaps the unexplained is simply the misunderstood, a brutal symphony of natural forces conspiring in a unique, devastating concert within this infamous stretch of ocean. We've journeyed through treacherous waters, witnessing phantom ships and listening to the echoes of last transmissions. From the inexplicable vanishing of entire squadrons to colossal vessels swallowed without a trace, the tales of the Bermuda Triangle are etched into maritime lore. But as the waves crash against the shores of explanation, a clearer picture emerges, one less mystical and more profoundly human. For every theory of extraterrestrial abduction or temporal vortex, there are the undeniable truths of the ocean itself, its unpredictable fury, the crushing power of rogue waves, the treacherous currents that can drag wreckage far from its last known position. Methane gas eruptions, once a popular scientific hypothesis, while not the singular explanation, underscore the geological volatility beneath these waters. Yet, nature alone cannot account for every loss. Human error, fatigued crews, poorly maintained vessels, ambitious captains challenging impending storms, critical equipment failures, these are recurring characters in many maritime tragedies. The ambition to make port, the pressure of a deadline, the subtle miscalculation in a vast, unforgiving expanse. These factors, mundane yet catastrophic, are often the true unseen hands. Why then does the enigma persist? Because the human mind yearns for a grander narrative. The mundane truth of mechanical failure or a sudden squall feels unsatisfying when pitted against the drama of the unknown. Media, ever eager for a captivating headline, solidified the Devil's Triangle into popular consciousness, transforming isolated incidents into an interconnected web of supernatural doom. But the real lessons from the Bermuda Triangle are not about aliens or sea monsters. They are about the relentless vigilance required at sea. They're about advancements in navigation, meteorology, and search and rescue technology, driven by the very tragedies we've explored. Every lost ship, every vanishing plane, has, in its own somber way, contributed to making the ocean safer, guiding future voyages away from similar fates. And still, the allure remains. The ocean, vast and untamed, holds secrets simply by virtue of its immensity. Even with all our technology, the deepest currents, the most sudden squalls, the sheer scale of the planet's watery surface remind us that some mysteries may never be fully unraveled. The Bermuda Triangle, then, stands not as a portal to another dimension, but as a potent symbol of the enduring power of the sea, and our own profound fascination with the edge of the known. Before you go, here's the thing. Every week we investigate another mystery the world could never solve. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And here's the most important part. The next case we investigate could be yours. Tell us in the comments which unsolved mystery, disappearance, or disaster we should cover next. We read every suggestion, and the stories that stay with you are the ones we bring to life.